Namaskar, welcome to my channel. I'm Maina. I'm an author and I'm an astrologer. You can find my books in the description box below. India for the third time has elected Mr. Narendra Modi as her Prime Minister. Since it's an alliance government, some people are skeptical whether this government will last its full term or not. And someone has asked me this question. So I have taken this question based on Krishnamurti Paddhati at 05:54 US timings on 20th of June. In this prashna, the rising ascendant is of Cancer. The ascendant lord, moon, is in the 5th house. The ascendant represents the general affairs of the country in mundane astrology and also the cabinet. The 10th house, which is a very important house, has Mars in it as the 10th lord, and Mars aspects the moon. Moon is in fall in this chart, but moon has an aspect from Mars, which is the lord of the 5th house, in which moon is placed. This creates Neech Bhang Raj Yoga. The 5th lord Mars is in the 10th house. This is a Raj Yoga. The moon has an aspect from Jupiter, which is the 9th lord, and aspects moon from 11th lord. And this is also a kind of a very powerful yoga. It's a Lakshmi yoga, but apart from that, there is a very strong political yoga also happening. So for those who study this, there is a yoga of 1, 5, 9, 10 and 11 houses happening here. So 10th house speaks about, in olden times in astrology, the king, the ruler. In modern times, it is the parliament, the head of the state, and the performance of it, because 10th is the karma sthan. So we are looking at the main basic quadrant and the karma sthan and seeing how strong they are. So as I said, the Mars makes an equation by being the 5th lord in 10th house Raj Yoga, and the Jupiter aspecting moon from as a lord of 9th house from 11th, another powerful Lakshmi Yoga. So this all indicates that this is a very powerful chart. Mars in the 10th house is very strong here because Mars in the divine scheme of things is the commander of chief. The gods have assigned him the role of protecting the gods. Even in Roman mythology, Mars is very powerful. He is a warlord. So here it indicates the kind of ruler we have, the kind of head of state we have has all strong Martian qualities. How much of his qualities will find space and time to show, to perform, will be seen later. But on basic principles of astrology, this chart is rock solid. So it looks like the government will sustain and complete its full term. Let's look at the other planets. So the other planet here is Rahu, the biggest planet of politics. Rahu is in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of religion and law. Placement of Rahu here, who is himself a very unorthodox and non-conformist, in the 9th house shows that the matters of this house will be of concern for the nation. Another important combination is happening in the 12th house. The 12th house has Mercury as the lord in the 12th house. The 12th house in mundane astrology talks about war, losses, enemies, open or secret, mostly open enemies. The secret enemy is the 8th house. The enemy is the 7th house also, but then it depends on the question. So here the enemy, the plotting is this 12th house. So Mercury being there shows that the plotting is a lot mental, because Mercury is a mental planet. He's a planet of mind and thinking and calculation and planning. So definitely this will happen. Now, one can expect that these things will happen from the planetary position. There's another important planet here, and that is Saturn. Saturn is sitting in the 8th house as the lord of 8th house. Saturn has an equation with Mars of 311. He looks at Mars. So, aspect of Saturn on Mars is not really a very positive sign here. The good part is that Saturn indicates the lifespan and he is good in 8th house. His PAC, his connection with Mars in the 10th house indicates that lifespan is there. He is blessing it with lifespan, so the government will continue. But Saturn can never change his nature. All planets have a different equation with us depending on our karmas, present or past. But they have their own inherent nature also. So Saturn here will give Mars a long lifespan, but at the same time, he will play tug of war. There will be checks and balances because he is the planet of obstacles and obstructions. And he's a planet for trial. Saturn doesn't give you anything easy. He wants you to work for it because then only you'll appreciate it. Saturn doesn't give gifts. He's a taskmaster. So here Saturn indicating the 10th house equation indicates that there are going to be checks and balances, there are going to be obstructions. When it will happen is secondary. So on the face of it, it very clearly indicates that the chart is rock solid. The 10th house and Lagna are very strong. The 12th house is also strong, which means one cannot avoid or say that there is not going to be any opposition. So there is going to be opposition, there is going to be planning, plotting, there are going to be enemies. But at the same time, the Lagna in the 10th is very strong. This is Parashar's very clear-cut rule that if the Lagna is strong, and here the 10th house, because we are looking at the 10th house is strong, that means the house is strong. It will withstand storms. So this is what will happen, that the government will complete its term despite of all that we are seeing through the planets. Mr. Modi will rule it with all Martian qualities. Now comes the Dasha. No chart is complete without the Dasha. The reason is Dasha is the ultimate kingmaker. And what is Dasha? Time. It's time when it rolls, it brings or takes. So presently, the Dasha is of Saturn. We defined Saturn, where Saturn makes an interesting equation with Jupiter as the 9th lord in 11th. So 11th is about support, alliances, good relations, which means there will be smoothness in this. The alliances will continue. And Saturn is on till September of 2025. So this is a good news. Thereafter comes Mercury. Mercury comes in October of 2025, right after Saturn Dasha ends. Mercury, being the lord of 12th house, is definite to bring in some problems. It is Mercury time where we will see obstacles and obstructions happening. But looking at the total of the chart, as I said, the basic Parashar rule, Lagna is strong, 10th house is strong and powerful. This will come and go. The problems will come and go. So overall, I feel that the government will complete its term despite of having people trying to pull it down. This is my reading based on the astrology. I try my best to read. Rest is divine will who writes for one and all of us. Thank you very much for watching. I thank my subscribers and I welcome those who are new on the channel. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to press the bell icon for new updates. Thank you. Namaskar.